Torches cast long shadows across the marble floor as Tertia walked barefoot toward the draped wooden figure in the corner of the atrium. Her hands trembled. Behind her, 7 witnesses stood in silence, their faces half lit by oil lamps, watching her every step. She had been told this was tradition, that every Roman bride before her had done the same. That resistance would bring shame upon her family, but no one had explained what the tradition truly required until now. The year was 89 CE, during the reign of Emperor Domitian. At just 18 years old, Tertia was about to learn that Roman marriage was far more than saffron veils and scattered walnuts. What happened behind closed doors, before witnesses who could later testify in court, was something even Rome's own historians struggled to describe, and something the Christian Church would later try to erase from memory. The wedding procession had been beautiful in its way. Tertia wore the traditional flame-colored veil. Her hair was divided into 6 braids, bound with wool, exactly as custom demanded. The sacrifice at the temple had gone well. The omens were favorable. Her father signed the contracts transferring her from his authority to that of her husband. She spoke the ancient ritual words spoken by generations of Roman brides. Ubi te Gaia, ego Gaia, where you are, Gaius, I am Gaia. With those words, Tertia ceased to belong to herself. Her husband was Marcus Petronius Rufus, a grain merchant 25 years her senior, a man she had met only 3 times before this day. As the procession moved through Rome's torchlit streets, the crowd sang obscene verses as tradition required. Walnuts were thrown as symbols of fertility. Young men shouted crude suggestions that burned beneath Tertia's veil. Her mother said the songs were meant to drive away evil spirits through laughter, but her mother did not laugh. That morning, while arranging Tertia's hair, she had wept. Her final words were whispered like a warning: do not resist. Whatever they required, do not resist. When they reached Marcus's house, the doorway was decorated with wool and greenery. Marcus lifted Tertia over the threshold, a gesture meant to ensure good fortune and echoing an older truth. From a time when women were carried into their husbands' homes, whether they wished to enter or not, the door closed. The singing outside faded. Inside the atrium waited an elderly woman in ceremonial robes, the pronuba priest, several female slaves holding basins, a physician with a leather bag of instruments, and in the corner, a tall wooden structure concealed beneath cloth. The pronuba took Tertia's arm with a grip that allowed no retreat. What almost no one explains about Roman marriage is this: it was not primarily a romantic union. It was a legal transfer of property. Under Roman law, a woman passed from the authority of her father into the authority of her husband. Like any major transaction, this transfer required verification, witnesses, rituals, documentation. Roman law stated explicitly that a marriage was not valid until consummated. Virginity had to be confirmed. Fertility had to be ritually secured. The bride's body was the medium through which legitimacy, inheritance, and lineage were guaranteed. Tertia was guided toward the covered figure. You must greet mutinous Tutinus, the pronuba said. You must ask his blessing. When the cloth was removed, Tertia saw a wooden fertility figure carved with deliberate precision. Ancient sources mention this ritual briefly, always with discomfort. Christian writers later condemned it. Modern historians often soften its meaning, but the language of antiquity suggests this was no mere symbol. The stated purpose was divine blessing. The practical purpose was submission before witnesses, before the law, before marriage itself. Tertia could have refused, but refusal meant disgrace, annulment, return to her father's house as damaged. Property no respectable man would marry. She did not refuse. After the ritual, slaves washed her with scented water. Then the physician stepped forward. The examination was not optional. Roman medical texts describe such procedures with clinical detachment. Records were kept. Witnesses observed. Only then was Tertia led to the marriage chamber. The door remained open. Oil lamps burned. The pronuba stood watch. What followed was not private, but procedural, designed to ensure that no part of the legal transfer could ever be questioned. By morning, the documentation was complete. The witnesses had seen enough. Tertia was now a Roman wife. She would go on to bear children. She would manage a household. She would live decades as a respected matron. And she would never speak of her wedding night, not to friends, not to daughters. Roman women did not write about such things. Roman men did not record them. The silence was not conspiracy. It was custom. These practices endured for centuries, until Christianity reshaped Roman society. Statues were destroyed, texts vanished, memory faded, but fragments survived. They remind us that civilization and brutality can coexist, that legal sophistication can exist alongside systematic dehumanization. The rituals are gone, but the women were real. They lived, they endured, they were silenced.